Plank's the show. Ho, ho! Where you can come and hear about everything Buccos. Yo ho ho, come talk the plank with bros. Yes, bros. Iron Mike and Yinzer, as anger begins to grow.
What's up, guys? It is episode 2 here of Talk the Plank, Everything Buccos. It's me, the AngryYinzer, and as always, I am joined by Pittsburgh Iron Mike. Iron Mike, how are we feeling on this beautiful Monday evening?
Well, it is beautiful. I'm feeling good, but the blood pressure is already getting up, man, because it was rough. But you know what? I'm doing well. It's a beautiful Monday. I'm excited. I'm excited to get into it, and happy everyone's here to tune in with us.
All right, and I think we know that everyone wants to hear us get angry about this last Braves series. I'm the AngryYinzer. It's not like Iron Mike is known for his calm demeanor. We just need to maybe start the blood pressure on something a little bit lighter here and maybe a happy topic. Let's talk about the Astros, and if we skip around game 2, maybe keep the blood pressure as low as possible before we got to get to the Bravos.
Yeah, I mean, the Astros, when we started off, a 3-game set, start off the week. Pirates on the road all week this past week. So we're back home. But yeah, Astros game 1, high scoring affair the first 2 games. But, game 1 finishes 10-6. Endy Rodriguez, man. That was the storyline of game 1, if you ask me, because he was also too the second biggest is you calling the home run for Brandon Lau. So if you want to go into those 2 real quick, I mean, I know you mentioned, and I think we're both in agreement that Endy just looks great, and I'd love to just see it continue.
Yeah, so the battle in Buccos are just another big thing we're seeing here this year. I love getting down in a game and not. I mean, last year, if we were down 2-0, I could just turn the game off.
Yeah, you're just done.
It's beautiful to be down 2-0 in the first inning and be like, hold on, there's 9 innings of baseball left. Let me sit here and watch. I sit there and watch. Endy Rodriguez, I look, he's standing on third base. I hear Brownie's triple. And I'm like, all right, a little triple for Endy. I look back up, it's 2-0. I was like, oh, how'd Endy get home? There's no more outs. There's no one on base. Realized that was a home run. Awesome. Endy Rodriguez just coming out and hitting a home run immediately. Love that. And it's really where we're standing. I mean, if you just look at the slashing for Endy Rodriguez, I don't have it pulled up on Baseball Reference today, but if we go Endy Rodriguez versus Henry Davis, it's really not a question for me. Henry is on this roster because he's Paul Skeen's personal catcher, and he's been Sherrington's personal pet project. And it really doesn't make any sense why he's starting like the majority of games at catcher. If I'm looking at it, I need Endy Rodriguez behind the plate pretty much every time we don't have a night game into a day game.
Yeah, so I was doing a roof this weekend with my dad, who's a former union carpenter, and he said whenever you are when you don't really need to, when something's going to get covered up and the measurement doesn't have to be great, we say we're going to eye fuck this. And I think when it comes to our catching situation in Pittsburgh, we can eye fuck this. We don't need a slash line, right? We can look at Henry Davis and say, you're garbage. And Joey Bart has gout. We can simply look at Endy Rodriguez and go, hey, this guy, he had high hopes. He's getting older. But if he's going to come around for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, anything in the league is better than what you have right now behind the plate. So to be honest with you, Yinzer, we could eye fuck this whole catcher situation here and just let him cook. But, I think the Don, it has Sherrington's hand up his ass a little bit. And I don't know if the Don's making those decisions when it comes to that, because you're right. Henry Davis is a personal catcher and a personal pet. You can do that for a 10th round guy, 12th round guy, some idiot you sign out of the Dominican for a sack of potatoes. But we got to remember, Henry Davis is a 1-1 pick, man. I mean, just look at what the Steelers did with Kenny Pickett right? Their first round pick or their first round quarterback after a season or two. Look at Marcus Mariota. I mean, we can go into that, with how in football and teams that have real upper management were able to say, hey, this guy just sucks. Let's get rid of him. But unfortunately, there's some sort of love affair going on between Sherrington and Davis. So we have this situation. But yeah, Endy looked great, man. And I don't, there's no other way to put it. I don't want to talk in circles about Endy, but just keep him in the lineup and just let him produce because you can't get any worse right now. But and Yinzer calling the home run, dude. I should have put some money on that. What's up with that?
Yeah, I'm coming back around here for that one. I was going to circle back because I have to give myself a pat on the back. If you're
Yes,
listening to Talk the Plank, you're getting winners. That's just what
one
we
for
do
one.
here.
One for
We're
one.
1-for-1 on our official picks as a show. Yes, did the podcast come out while the hit was already happening? Maybe, but I said it before, and this one's coming out today. So whatever I give you today, you got to at least think about taking.
Bet the house. Bet the house. Yeah, when he hit that, I was watching the game with my fiance. I said, Yinzer called that. I was like, and then I see because you're like half a pitch ahead of me in the game, and you said I fucking called that shit. I was like, oh my god, that was. You don't really see that too much. I mean, you see people mess around, but yo, bro, home run right here, But like, you were just seriously, guys. If you want to pick, I'm betting Lau home run, and then bang. It's like that's keep it up, keep it up. You're making money watching this show, guys. Like, just you don't need to join any sort of club or anything like that. Just listen. We'll give you a pick. We'll keep it running. Do you
And
wanna go to game 2 or I'll let you go, Yinzer. Go ahead. You're better with this.
yeah, no, we're good here. This is I'm gonna tease a little something here and maybe keep our viewer retention up. If you want another winner, I'm not giving you a pick till the end of the podcast. So at the very
Okay.
least, you're gonna have to scroll to the end, which is gonna give me that watch time. So listen,
Love it.
whichever way you want to get my pick, you can take the pick. Outside of that, the only other really note I had out of that, and I like to I've been keeping track of pitching because that's been our biggest controversy here. So, I mean, Bubba struggled in that game, and he had a great game his last game out with the Bravos outside of the last inning he was in the game, but we'll get to that at the end. This game was struggle. 5 innings pitched, 5 hits, 3 earned runs, 2 walks, only 3 Ks, 91 pitches, 52 of them for strikes. It's just this kid is projected up there to have ace type stuff. He has to get control of that stuff.
Yeah, and I wouldn't necessarily put the panic button on him right now because he did just have a good last start, which we'll get into against the Braves. But we see guys like Skeens. We're a little bit spoiled right now with Skeens because he comes in, he wins Rookie of the Year, and then he comes in the next year and wins the freaking Cy Young. So we got to understand that the traditional starter, the starting pitcher, he comes into the league and he gets lit up like a pinball machine a little bit. I mean, if you can look at the first 15, 20 or so starts from Mitch Keller, they weren't Paul Skeens worthy, right? We have a once in a generation player on the Pirates right now in the same position as Bubba. So sometimes I think we hold a higher standard to those guys, but he's young enough that he can still get lit up, figure it out. I mean, if you watch on Pittsburgh Sportsnet when they have a talk with Bubba Chandler in the commercial breaks. I don't know if you've seen it, Yinzer, where it's him and he goes, "Yeah, we're working on my changeup during spring training." He kind of talked a little development for a second there in a little clip, but that's what you do. You kind of live and learn as a starter. And I'm not putting the panic button on Bubba yet. Let's put him there. Let's keep him there at the 5 spot. See if he figures it out because we have other, you only do it once every 5 days. So we can get in more to Bubba for getting better, but definitely I'm not panicking yet.
We'll come back around to Bubba, and you did mention those little I don't even know what to call them. They're like cutaways. I went to broadcast school and have no idea what to even call that anymore. That is a failure of our college's education system. But they go to those, and they're like vignettes almost. And you go to them, and it's Hannah Mears or it's Matt Capps, and it's someone just interviewing always like one of the starting pitchers. Paul's got one on there. Bubba's got one on there. There was one a couple years ago about this thing that it literally throws the pitch that the pitcher you're going to face throws, and it like projects
Yeah.
them on a screen. You remember that one?
Yeah, there's a
Yeah.
hole like in the wall and the picture's projected on the screen. Yeah.
Yeah, that stuff's awesome. So like I do love those. Shout out Sportsnet Pittsburgh. Sportsnet Pittsburgh. It is stealing my money, but hey, I love the work you guys do covering the Buccos.
Yeah, and just speaking of that too, guys you kind of can get had quicker in the MLB than you ever could, because you're right. You can say, okay, I'm going against Bubba Chandler today. I am just going to see 78 pitches of everything he throws right now, 4 hours before the game. Okay, I'm ready to see Bubba Chandler. Let's go. Right? It's less of a. It's almost like a script. You know what he has, and you know when he throws it, and it's with everyone. It's just a matter of getting past that, and you still have to put it to the test. It's not just because you study you're going to get hits, but there's a lot more that goes into it. But yeah, Bubba's going to be Bubba. We'll figure it out with him. But
And
game two. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Sorry.
no, I always want to circle back there right before we go to game two because we're on pitchers, and that's a good spot where we're talking about pitching. But just where we're talking about, hey, we know that script, we know the sequence of when he throws things. That's another thing. I feel like we get into these predictable counts and we throw predictable pitches, which is a thing that is it the catcher calling? Is it lack of control? That's something I would have to look further into, but it's something that I've just noticed. We're getting hit for hard contact lately, and it seems like the batter has a better idea what's coming.
Who's great with that stuff is Bob Walk. When you get him with some downtime on the air, dude, he just opens your eyes to so much stuff. Because I bet you he said something similar, but that's just the longevity of the game. There's a reason why we play 162, because stuff like that, getting into bad counts, that can cost you a game. So luckily we play a lot of them, but it's I do agree with you that whole Astros series, because we can get into game two, which was the Skeens start, was game two, right? Yeah, because game three was Jones. So game two was Skeens, and we have the notes here, and you said it. Paul needs to throw less fucking balls. That whole
Yeah.
series was hard. It was hard to watch, and oh my god, Yinzer, those games, I felt like those games took 4 hours each of them, and you were like, "Oh, it's because we're in 3-2 counts every at bat." So yeah, if you want to take it away with your Paul theory, we go right into it.
Yeah, you texted me, and it's like damn near 11 o'clock at this point for an 8:10 start time, and it just felt like this game was dragging. We were somewhere in like the fifth or sixth inning, and I'm just like, man, we are just watching so much baseball. And I'm looking at Skeen's pitch count, dude, and that's the stat line I want to go to. Skeen's 4 2/3 pitched, 7 hits, 3 earned runs, a walk. He gets his 7 Ks because of course he does. He's Paul fucking Skeens. He's gonna do shit like that. But 109 pitches and only 68 of them in for strikes. That is not Paul Skeens. That's not what I'm used to with Paul Skeens.
I said it on the last episode too. They're mentioning or maybe I was texting you about it, but they mentioned in the post game that he's struggling with command. Like it's just not what you want to see. Because I tell you what, 4 2/3. Come on, dude, you won the Cy Young. You're not even getting through the fifth. 7 hits, that's whatever. Like I said, they can see your pitch 100 million times, in the batting cages, but 3 earned, 1 walk, 7 Ks, those are good numbers. But dude, like we do, Don Kelly's in love with the bullpen game enough. We don't need more of it, man. We need to. You got to be the guy. Get your shit together. Let's throw some strikes. And there was also. I know I'm kind of bouncing around here, Yinzer, but there's also talks on the Heard on the Fan of Paul's hasn't hit 100 miles per hour yet this season, I believe, which was similar to last season. Maybe he's basically not throwing that fuck you fastball anymore that you saw in his rookie year. There's some talks about longevity if we're playing games in October. Maybe he's got the gas pedal a little bit on it, and I think we all know as former athletes in sports is you just got to play your game. Your game isn't preserving yourself for next month or next week. Play your game. And I don't know what's going on. I mean, it's a long season. A lot happens. You're traveling. A lot more of that plays into it than you think, because I certainly wouldn't feel the great if I was in Pittsburgh and then sitting around all day in Houston and getting in late. But yeah, there needs to be something needs figured out there with Paul for sure. I'm not panicking yet, but come on, man, you got to get through the fifth. 109, I'd understand Yinzer if it's he's through the fifth and he's got 80, right? Like, okay, it took you some extra pitches to get some outs that you needed, but that's a lot. That's a lot for like a complete game shutout type shit. So I'll let you take it there. Sorry, I'm long winded.
No, it's what makes you you, and it's what made you the person to do Talk the Plank with, is that you can go into these long-winded. I can sit here, take a drink of my water, put the microphone on mute, and just let you be you.
Love it.
I'm not here to fucking put out your flame. I don't want to do anything except for let Iron Mike be Iron Mike. So you never apologize to me for talking baseball. You fucking love that game.
I appreciate it. We'll keep it running. That makes me feel great. Well, and same to you. Let's just run it, man. Who cares, right? We'll just have fun.
Yeah, I mean, shit. If you got to sit here and listen to this over the whole week, it takes us a week to get another one out. So sit there, listen to fucking 15 minutes every day if you have to. That's
Yeah.
fine with me.
Yeah,
We're
you
gonna
guys are good.
talk.
This ain't DK's daily shot. You got time, we're good.
That's what we're not here to be, DK. We're here to be us. And I
Yeah.
literally, when I sent this to a couple of our buddies from college, I said, "Hey, you want to feel like it's me and Iron Mike sitting in the old house, and you're sitting there listening to us bullshit about baseball? Here's something to listen to."
I love it. I love it. You know what else I love but also hate is Henry Davis just hitting a grand slam just to stay on the team for an extra 2 months. I saw him in game two. He pimps one. If you guys didn't see the game, just Google Henry Davis home run because there's only a couple of them in his career. He goes deep in the middle of an at bat, grand slam, and he just immediately threw the bat down. It was a no doubter. And I tell you what, Yinzer, I was like, okay, great, we're winning the game now. But it just pisses. I was getting so mad. My fiance was getting so frustrated with me because I was so pissed. Because the better Henry Davis does, it just little spurts. Ben Sherrington just is going to eat that shit up, and he's going to stay. It gives him another reason to stay a little bit longer. So every time he has some sort of weird freak moment, that's just buying him more time. And honestly, I'd rather have seen him just strike out because if he can just strike out every single time, we have no other choice but to DFA the guy. So great for him. I hate you, Henry Davis. If I see you in the North Shore and you're walking across the street, I may get a lead foot. I don't know. That's not a threat. FAA, FBI, don't come get me, but I fucking hate you, and I hope I never meet you in person. I just good for him though, but I can't stand it.
And I told you a story, and that's why it's a soft spot in my heart for Henry Davis. It was actually, if you remember, the night that we ran into each other at one of the Pittsburgh area casinos out here. And you
Yes,
were
I
with
do.
college buddies, I was with college buddies, and we all just happened to pass each other. I go and I sit down at a blackjack table. I had a Pirates hat on. I had just recently shaved all of my fucking hair off.
I noticed. I was
Just
like,
had
damn, bro, you're bald.
Yeah, I had the clean buzz cut. I was hot outside and I was going a little fucking crazy at the time. So I just shaved all the hair off and I'm sitting there and this old lady's eyeing me up. Like, what's going on? Like, she's sitting with her husband. Is this old lady eye fucking me right now? She looks over and she goes, "Are you Henry Davis?" And I said, "Ma'am, if I was Henry Davis, I would be at a much nicer casino playing for a lot more chips. But I thank you for even thinking I could possibly be."
clip that shit, and that's getting pinned on Twitter because I freaking love that story. And I don't want to give away your appearance, but I can see it. I think it's the how your hair is just all one, like your sides are the same as the top. You know what I mean? Like when it's short like that, kind of like him. That's
Yeah, no, I had
I can
like the
see it. I can see it.
stereotypical catcher buzz cut going.
Yes,
Like
yes.
it's I look like I wore a helmet on my head 100 times a summer. Like it made sense if you looked at me that I would be some sort of catcher, even if I was in the minor league system. It would have made a lot of sense at the moment. So if that's what you're picturing, I mean, you can hear me. I don't know if I sound catcherish, but me and Mike Tyson, we're catchers. If you're sitting there, you're trying to decide what you're looking at. It's two catchers. That's what you're listening to. It's guys that look like they want to fucking catch 100-mile-an-hour fastballs straight off their fucking chest.
I caught for a lot of little league and then into middle school and a little bit into high school. That was my position. I know exactly. It gets around this time of year and you go, fuck it. And I tell my dad to just buzz me off because I'm wearing this damn helmet while we're getting pounded 6-2 in Little League. I know exactly what you're talking about. But yeah, I know Henry Davis got a little soft spot for you. And you just, kind of being a new baseball fan, I'll take it however I can get it when it comes to you and being in love with the game. So Henry Davis does have a little bit more respect. I have a little bit more respect for him now that he's, you got that story because we all got something. But good for Henry. But
Well, and I
it's
also I texted you. I texted you probably as he walked up to the plate or while he was in the on deck circle, and I just said, "Why the fuck does Henry Davis have a torpedo bat? That's like giving a 16-year-old a Corvette." And then he just hemped the fuck out of a grand slam, and I was like, "All right, that's why. Good shit, Hen. I appreciate you." That's one where I jump out of the bed and Mrs. Yinzer looks at me like, "The fuck are you screaming about?" I was like, "Henry Davis should have fucking grand slam."
it's tough because you wish he could just apply that to his whole game, and what you can just translate that to is, if we want to talk about fixing the game, or just if you have one, whatever, the bullpen. I'm pissed now. The bullpen needs to figure it out. Okay, you have burn it to the ground. I'm tripping over my words, and I didn't want to get into game too much, but Jesus, man, like
Yeah,
what
we're
was
here
that shit
now.
show?
So we're
Oh,
here now. That
we're
is
here now. Oh,
so Henry Davis hit his home run. We go up, and then we like pepper in a couple more RBIs here and there. And I'm like, okay, we're good. This game, we just need to get through the end of this. Paul, I really wish you didn't pitch so fucking much because I've been watching Johan Ramirez for a really long time. And then Donnie just, at that point, like Johan came out because he started to struggle a little, which is where we don't have a guy that I go to that we can go to that I feel confident in. So Johan comes out, Mason Montgomery goes in. Mason Montgomery gets a clean inning. Next inning, strikes out the first two batters. We're sitting at the bottom of the eighth, 2 outs, nobody on. This should be easy. Double. Walk. All right, let's get Soto in here. He might have let in a couple more before that. It was just bad for Montgomery. He lost it, and that's something we've been seeing a lot. These pitchers will go for a little bit, and then they just lose it, like out of nowhere. And it happened with Soto, which we can get into the fact that in game one, Santana couldn't clean up the game, so Soto had to come in. So they already saw Soto, but they get through Montgomery. They bring Soto in, and that Soto allows 3 more runs. Now we're sitting at, we just allowed 6 runs with 2 outs in the bottom of the eighth. I'm just texting you, blowing you, kill me, please kill me. How the fuck does this happen? And now we're down 11-9. I'm just, okay, well, that's the game. And it was the game. That was the final score of the game, 11-9. We go into the top of the ninth. We get like this semblance of, hey, something might happen. Nothing happens. We lose 11-9. And my only note from that is suicide the answer? And that's how I was feeling after game 2 of the Astros series.
dude, when we started piling it on there, I thought it was almost like garbage time. I went to bed because I'm texting you about how these games are so damn late. It's not like I got to wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning, but like, yeah, this is getting tired. This game's going on forever. We got it in the bag. We're good. And I wake up. I go and do not disturb. I wake up and I got these texts from you. I'm like, what the hell happened? I go at 93.7 The Fan. It's blowing my shut up. Like, I don't even want to watch the recap because a lot of the mornings I'll go on, and it's, if you guys are listening, the MLB app on your Roku, you can watch the recap of every game. The recap rundown, that's free. You don't need a subscription for that at all. So I'll just go and I'll watch that, see what the highlights are. I'm like, I'm not doing it today. I'm not doing it. I'm just going to go to work. Well, then that night I go to Chili's, and sure enough, because they had I went at like 4:00, 4:30. I didn't want to go, but it was too late, and they're showing a rerun of the Pirate game in the 8th inning, and I was like, "Oh my god, ruined my appetite." And I thought to myself, people will speak well of Wilbur Dotel because he hasn't completely fucked anything up yet, but other than him, and I like Benoit, we don't have a guy in the bullpen. Like you said, you don't have a single guy you feel good about, right? So as you know, you were saying earlier how, oh, it's nice we can go down 2-0 and the game's not over, right? Well, because we can hit the ball now. Well, now it almost feels like Inzer, we're like a mediocre pit football team, right? You know, where you'll get three or four touchdowns, you'll be up like 28-3, and then slowly, little by little, we get a touchdown. Okay, and we punt. Then we and field goal. Okay, and we throw a pick. Okay, and they throw a pick. And then it just gets worse and worse and worse. Something needs to happen soon. And every single analyst or column guy or columnist, whatever you say it, they're saying that no one's making a move anytime soon because you don't really have the contenders, and the pretenders really fizzled out, because you will see teams just a couple of games below 500. They know they're done. There's no sellers yet. But what's the answer? I don't know. There's guys in AAA right now. Can we call some people up? We need at least two guys that we can say, hey, these guys can figure it out. Okay. Carmen Mlodzinski, great pitcher, good bullpen guy, but we do this dumb shit with Jared Jones, and we piggyback off people and do the opener stuff. If you ask me, Carmen Mlodzinski's not even a guy in the bullpen. He's just the secondary starter for Jared Jones. So that doesn't help me at all. If we can just figure out a way from playing Moneyball with starting pitchers into bullpen and just get a couple bullpen guys and play this game the way it's supposed to be played, we might have something there. But honestly, and I was going to say this later in the show, I think we can just congratulate the Brewers for winning the NL Central, because if you don't fix this, this is not going to get any better. You are going to slide. You're going to teeter between above 500 and below 500. And Yinzer, I know 500 baseball would be great for us, but you know how fucking disappointing that would be if we go 2 games above 500, finish out the season 82-80 or something like that, and we missed the playoffs. To go, great, we had an over 500 season, we missed the playoffs again. But we had the best season in 10 years, and we got nothing to show for it. We got to figure this out soon. Go ahead.
It looks like the analysts all kind of are in agreement on one guy that's already been here, and in his short stint here, played good baseball and also squeezed his mom's tits on Twitter. So it's just a weird decision of, hey, do we want to Aroldis Chapman? That's the only pretender right now. The Red Sox are fucking terrible.
I was so scared you were going to say Bailey Falter for a second. I'm like, no, please, that Michael Scott clip. God, please, no. Yeah, I mean, we overpaid Chapman. In a year we had no intentions on winning. He kicked ass. This guy can't age to save his life. He just looks good constantly. And
He's
we got him for
99.
Yeah, we traded him because we were sellers. Can we just go back in time real quick, get him back? That would be a great addition. Now, I listened to the fan a little bit too much. They're not too crazy on him. They're saying he's not, but look at what we have, man. We have a college baseball bullpen. It is not good. Anything will help, seriously.
Well,
So,
the Twitter discourse is Isaac Mattson. And it's like, hey, Isaac Mattson's been balling in Indy. I don't care. I watched Isaac Mattson. He has that invisible or ghost fastball, whatever you want to call it, where he throws it 94 miles an hour. I don't want my elite closer throwing I don't need my bullpen guys chucking at 94 unless they have insane secondary stuff.
Yeah, it's almost like, Rich Hill was able to make it work because he didn't throw heat, but he would throw a breaking ball that broke like close to 3 feet. And it's just weird and awkward, and he can make work. But, you got to have, as a closer, you got to have stuff. Middle relief, you just got to get to the closer. That's your goal, right? You don't have to blow it. We don't need a guy coming into the 6th throwing 102. We need a guy in the bottom of the 9th, right? And you're right. If you add Mattson in that kind of situation, unless he's really balling out going against AAA guys, he could help. But honestly, I think anything can help. You just need a change. I don't know if Carmen being in there is messing up the vibe, because we've sucked the whole year in the bullpen. So there's some sort of vibe change that needs to be had. I don't know if it's getting a new bullpen catcher, getting a new bullpen coach, doing something, firing the guys up, taking them to a titty bar. I don't know. Sometimes I think there's got to be maybe a locker room issue with that, because they all know that they suck. We've all been on a team that just absolutely sucks. No one feels like a good player, even on a sucky team. And I think something needs to happen soon. Maybe bring it in the Cuban Missile and just be like, what what's up? How do you like my Twitter video? Happy Mother's Day. Might work out, but something's got to happen soon because it'll be to me an utter disappointment if these Pirates finish over 500 and can't make the playoffs. I will be very thankful because they made baseball interesting the whole year. But you're 7.5 back from the division right now, and when that wild card race gets hot, dude, that's when every game means a ton. And the dog days, you get into August and September. When every game matters, dude, you can slip from that wild card spot very quickly. Your postseason outlook can change in a week when it comes time. Because eventually the Brewers are going to get to the point where we're not touching them. We know that if we're getting in, it's a wild card spot, and probably 7 other teams are going to say the same thing. So it's got to happen soon because I really don't want the bullpen of all things to keep us out of it. It would be horrible. That I end my spiel on the bullpen. That's tough. Maybe suicide is the answer. I'll think about it.
Yeah, if we don't pick up a bullpen arm somehow, some way, then the Clemente might have a few more jumpers that need to be saved by umpires. Let's just go to Game 3. Buccos 5, Astros 1. The piggyback thing worked. So shout out whoever can, I guess DK or GMBC, whoever said the piggyback thing. It worked. It also makes it so that Carmen Mlodzinski pitches once every 5 days. So you basically just have 2 starters on Jared Jones days. And if you don't use Mason Montgomery as an opener, you kind of just have 2 starters on Bubba Chandler days because you do the exact same thing with Dotel. So
yeah, sometimes I think that stuff hurts you more though. Like over time, I don't like the piggyback stuff. It did work out. I mean, Jones, he had 5 innings pitched, 4 hits, no earned runs, 2 walks, 4 Ks, 74 pitches, 44 of them for strikes. Not a bad stat line for a guy who's coming back from injury. We're not expecting him to go that 7.5. 4 strikeouts against a major league lineup, dude. That's it's something. Keeping the walks down too, with still throwing a lot of balls, and obviously no earned runs. Had some good defense behind him. Then they piggyback to Carmen. Gives up a home run this first guy faced, which I think is the baseball god saying like, "Hey, fuck you. Don't cry like a bitch when you get moved. You're a team player." But then he ends up.
I can't lie.
Go ahead.
I smiled when that ball left the park. I was like, all right, let's win this game. But also, Carmen, you needed to wear that one.
Yeah, shave your stupid mustache, cut your fucking hair after that one. You look dumb. But after that, 4 innings pitched, 4 hits, 1 run, 1 earned on the dinger, no walks, which is great because we have some guys who do struggle with walks, and 3 strikeouts. So we'll take it. And he looked pumped. Like he kind of looked like he was in the zone. He was like, all right, I got this. I'm still a pitcher. I still got some stuff. I'm still on this team for a reason. Piggyback works to perfection. It looked well. And I think Jones really kind of putting it together helps that piggyback situation because it's a good thing whenever you got 2 guys that are going to shove, right? But if you got 2 guys that, aren't worth a pint of piss, it's harder to come in down 6-2 in the 5th, or in the 6th and try to finish out a game and your team can't hit. So, the bats put it together, the pitching put it together. It's a good way to just get the hell out of Houston. I fucking hate that city, even though I only was ever in the airport. I never want to go back. We get out of Houston. Fuck them. Fuck the trash cans. It's stupid.
And
it's hot.
Before we get out of Houston, I do want to we mentioned the weird Lau ejection in episode 1, and then we had another weird baseball thing. If you're just paying attention to baseball games and you get to see weird shit, Jared Jones got a balk or balk, but they say, hey, move the guy to second. I'm like, what the fuck? He just pitched. Like, he didn't even step off. What just happened? He was apparently pitching, and this is what the crew chief said, pitching from a hybrid pitching stance, but he didn't announced to the home plate umpire that he was going to pitch from a hybrid pitching stance, which is apparently a balk.
So
Anything
if
there?
you,
I've never heard of a hybrid pitching stance.
yeah, so like I said, I kind of am well versed in a lot of aspects of the game. So player have not necessarily coached, but have assisted on the bench and also umpired at a yeah, I had to take a test, right? So I kind of know a lot of aspects of the game. If you look up the definition of a balk, and I can't do it verbatim, but the word deliberately deceive would be in there. So basically, a balk is you trying to deliberately deceive the runner or the batter. We got to remember deliberately, right? It's something that okay, like the guy who did it the week before, whoever it was, who Jared Jones was like, oh, I saw him do it, and he just kind of went to go. Did you see that clip? Who the guy played for the Nationals? He went to go pitch, and then
Yeah,
just
he
like,
was
ah, shit,
talking
I'm going
about
to
he
go throw
saw
a
someone
pickoff.
else do it.
Yeah. So if you watch that balk, that's the definition of a balk. He's going to throw, doesn't throw, turns back. So I think they get a little bit petty, but rules is rules, I guess. You got to announce that because whenever you are an umpire, you are looking for okay. If he's coming from the windup, he is gonna, that's 2 feet on the rubber. He's gonna come over and come back and then throw. And if if he's pitching from the set, or the stretch, he's gonna have his two hands separate, and then they're gonna come together, and he has to pause. Well, in that, and then he can throw in that position, you're going from the windup, and if I wish there's a fly on the wall in this room right now because you'd be seeing me do it live. So you're going from the windup, and then you move and you kind of go into the stretch almost, and then pause, and then go again. So I understand why the umpire says you have to tell me if you're pitching from there because if you're coming from the windup, if you're starting from the windup, which is 2 feet on the rubber, once you start pitching, you don't stop. Versus from the stretch, as we all know, is when you have 1 foot on the mound and the next foot facing the bat, towards the batter, you come together set. So it's kind of stupid, but I understand the notifying of the umpire, but luckily we still got out of there with a win. It's just some weird stuff like long season, a lot of games, weird stuff's going to happen like that. But if you get into the rules a little bit, the history of the balk and whatnot, it's some interesting history, guys. So go take a gander at it. But I
Yeah,
do. I'm not
this
going to
is
be
the
the guy who's
stuff.
like I side with the cops, but that's kind of what it is a little bit. That is the rule. So I understand
Well,
the
and
deception
this
there.
is this is blue siding with blue. As Iron Mike mentioned, he does umpire. So this would be blue siding with blue. And I mean, you say, hey, we all know the stretch, we all know the windup. No, I'm learning shit. This is good for me. I was looking it up, just hybrid pitching stance in baseball and softball. A hybrid pitching stance is a setup on the mound that blends elements of the windup and the set stretch positions. So yeah, it's used to control the running game. I guess you got to tell the umpire. I'm learning shit. I didn't realize you had to fucking tell Blue anything. I thought you could for sure invoke the fifth in baseball. So that's on me.
Well, quite frankly, I think that hybrid position is a little bit OP for the pitcher. You can't. I think it should be banned. I think it's stupid. If there's a runner on, what then defines as a balk? Like when can you go for the pickup? Because if you're in the stretch or the set, right, you can come up and then you come back. Now, one thing that was banned that I used to do actually in Little League and used to be able to do it in the old video games is used to be able to fake a pickoff to third and then turn around and throw it to first. So that was a big thing because righties, not being able to face the guy at first, right? His back's to him versus the lefties facing the guy at first base. So it's harder to steal on a lefty. That righty would be able to come set from the stretch, and then he would lift up his knee, and before it crossed his body, he would just step towards third, turn around, and fire, and maybe get that guy caught in a rundown. That wasn't OP because you really got to be quick with it. It works in Little League every once in a while if you can get a guy, but I think that hybrid thing's a little bit OP, and we can move on from it. But it's interesting when you get into those types of rules of what can happen.
And this is why I have you here. I like it when I can understand what they're even talking about because I don't think I've ever even looked at a pitcher's feet. So that is good stuff to know from Iron Mike. If you didn't know, you can learn with the Angry Yinzer. If you did know, you can comment and call me mean names and tell me I'm a fucking idiot. That's fine. I probably am. I just started watching baseball, guys. I'm learning. Braves
Learning.
series. We got out of
Braves.
Houston. Time to go to the Braves. And I mean, I could sum it up with just a, but I don't think that's what they want to hear. So let's actually get a little mad. First game, 6-3 Braves. Luckily, I was nice and sauced for this because I watched all of Keller's earned runs in a bar and just sat there. And my only takeaway is Mitch Keller's not that fucking good at baseball. 4.2 innings pitched, or 4 2/3, 7 hits, 6 earned runs, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts. I just don't think Mitch Keller's that good of a pitcher, but I think we already knew that.
Yeah, I think when I said I'm not really panicking about Bubba, Keller is starting to show that a little bit of, kind of maybe he has peaked, right? Maybe we've seen the best of Keller. I don't think he's a great pitcher. I never liked him. He was very hyped as a prospect, and he probably debuted in 2017, 2018, maybe 2019. So, he's been up here for a while and we need consistency. And he gets shelled. I mean, he sometimes he just goes out there and just kind of gets hit and doesn't have dominating stuff. And I think he's overhyped a little bit with the media. But obviously, game one doesn't turn out the way we want it to. I'll have something to say overall after we kind of get through this series. If you want to stay at game one, or if we wanted to
No,
move to
I mean
game
we can
two.
just kind of push because honestly, I mean game two was pretty much a game one clone. 6-3 Braves. The only real note other from game one, also 6-3 Braves, would be that the bullpen actually didn't allow any runs after Mitch's 6 runs. So good job, bullpen. If you're already losing, apparently you can pitch. I'm proud of you for that. Game two, this first one is just me. I was looking at the screen. Tyler Callahan is just like, hello, my name is white baseball player. He is the most default looking character of a baseball video game of all time. But he actually had a pretty decent game, 2 hits. He drove in 2 runs. So shout out Tyler Callahan in his first major league start since that crazy injury that happened at the Braves Park, at Truist Park happened. He starts at the field where he gets hurt and gets 2 stakes. The game that we lose 6-3. So he's pretty much the whole offense.
Yeah, it's tough, whenever it's just the whole weekend was we got humbled a lot. Also we had Lau kind of all we thought. I saw on Twitter, I was like, is he done? Like, are we really gonna lose Brandon Lau now? I mean, because we got Cruz apparently struggling with an injury. Obviously, we got KG, which I don't even see him on our list to talk about, but maybe that's another day,
Yeah,
another
I
off
mean,
day or something.
I
But
think we get into him in the end of because more news came out on him today.
yeah,
Kind of just
exactly.
kept it quiet during the Braves series. Yeah, I did just allow her by his own foul ball. That sucked, but then we can kind of step into game 3.
Yeah,
First,
go ahead.
fuck that jagoff that fucking put on Twitter that he was out for months. The fake diagnose. Fuck you. Don't. Misinformation is lame. Don't do that shit. Game 3, 3-2 Braves. Game started awesome. Horwitz leadoff magic. Horwitz has done that a couple times this year where he just smacks one and then drops the bat, stares at the dugout. I like Spencer Horwitz.
He's exciting when he can get a hold of the ball because everyone's like, "Oh shit!" Like, you don't have to do that. We got some depth at first base. Actually, you're okay. And he's like, "Nah, you're gonna keep playing me for a reason because I'm gonna beat the shit out of the ball every once in a while." And I love when he can just pop off. He's a great guy. I love that guy too.
Well, and a lot of the time, I think when he pops off, he can actually get the whole lineup going behind him. It didn't happen today. We were later in the game. It was 2-0 Pirates. Yeah, it was 2-0 Pirates, and I looked and Spencer Horwitz was the only person with hits on the baseball team, and I was just like, all right, Horwitz is the offense today. We don't love that. Eventually, someone else comes in to get hits. It is Brandon Lau who comes in, late in the game and has on like a shin guard on his knee that he had hit the day before. Just drops in a double. Branlow's fine.
He's great. Yeah, that's awesome. He's able to just kind of come back and be that Iron Man that we need. Because if you lose Lau, you get the injury bug bad in baseball. It's a lot of games of sucking versus football is where if your guy's out for the season, it's like, all right, well, just once a week. We don't want to catch this
Yeah.
injury bug too bad because it's going to be a shit show. But
Yeah, I
the
think Cruz
series,
is a sliced hand.
yeah, it's like what's going on? Like, is this guy just injury prone? Can he stay healthy for real? I just O'Neal Cruz kind of pisses me off because he has that kind of lazy demeanor to him. And it always feels like he's half-assed at everything, and then he will just like hit the shit out of the ball and like make plays. But
And even when he hits the shit out of the ball, he swings the bat. Like if I swung a bat like that, it would drop 5 feet in front. The ball would drop 5 feet in front of me. O'Neal Cruz just like half lazy swings. The ball goes 400.
yeah, I know he's so like unorthodox of a guy. Like, and he just looks so lazy. Just my dad was always my coach in baseball growing up, and there's not much you can teach like a little leaguer about like the mechanics and shit like that, but you can definitely call out laziness, and that was his biggest pet peeve. And I'm his son, so I fucking hate when people are lazy, and he just reminds me of that. Just someone that just like, come on, like pick up your bat. Or some kind of guy you got to tell him 5 times to be somewhere on time and still won't be. I guarantee you, he's that guy. But I had a buddy actually see him playing wiffle ball with his kids outside of Heinz Lofts a couple years ago. So good family, man, but a murderer still. But
I
but
did.
yeah,
I have the person. O'Neal Cruz, don't drink and drive. That is, we are going to put that out there. I was saying that to Mrs. Yinzer the other day. I was like, he just like killed 2 people. Like he
I
hits
think
the
it was
shit out of the
3
ball,
actually.
but
I think it might have
and
been
you're
3.
right.
Yeah.
It might have been 3, and it was 3 people all on a motorcycle that were just driving around the streets of the Dominican Republic with their lights off. So I still feel terrible for the victims. I was just like, okay, I'm still mad at you, O'Neal. I'm less mad.
We know that Cruz was a prospect at the time, and if you ask me, I think some Pittsburgh lawyer who represents the Pirates showed up the Dominican with a briefcase of like $17,000, which is just generational wealth in the DR. And they said, "How about we make this go away, and we make sure there's no alcohol test?" Because if you read the whole report, the cop just didn't do any alcohol tests on him. I mean, it's a third world country. No offense to anyone, but yeah, I
Great
think of
baseball
Pittsburgh.
players, incredible
Yeah,
ball players.
it's great ball players. You guys love baseball, but
Get the shit
I,
out of a ball.
I think that a lawyer showed up there with 17 US cash and just said, "How about we make this go away?" And they said something on the lines of "C" or maybe "C, senor." And then O'Neal Cruz just went back to playing Dominican ball, winter ball, whatever it was. But actually, I'll get in there for a second. I was anytime at a Pirate game and O'Neal Cruz comes up, if I'm sitting with someone like, he's a convicted murderer. Not convicted. I'll just say, he killed 3 people, and well, usually you'll get something like, "What the hell? Are you serious?" And I'll be like, "Yeah, look it up." And I was talking to this guy. He was sitting next to me. He was sitting alone. And I was like, "Yeah, he killed 3 people." He's like, "Did he?" I was like, "Yeah, the Dominican. He hit 3 people. They were all on one moped." And he goes, "I was in the Dominican Republic." And he goes, "The driving situation down there is so crazy." He goes, "I wouldn't be shocked if 100 people, seriously," he goes, "I wouldn't be shocked if that O'Neal Cruz incident happens 10 times a day." Because he
I
goes, "It is the most crazy driving situation out there." He's like, "You're right. You'll see people hanging off mopeds, no lights on, making random turns, going the wrong way down a one way." So it's just something he liked me a little bit. I was like, "Shit."
Yeah, I do think. I mean, I can't speak on the Dominican, but when I was in Mexico, I did just my cab drivers down there were moving at the speed of fucking light down these Mexican streets, and they were narrow, and everybody was cutting each other off. And I've seen it one other time in Dallas, Texas. Dallas, Texas. So I mean, yeah, people fucking drive like maniacs. Apparently, the farther south you get, and I just had to scream at this taxi driver, "Izquierda, izquierda." I used my very little Spanish experience to tell this lady we had to go left or we were going to miss the resort.
Oh,
She
that's
goes,
an
oh.
all-timer.
She went, oh, tu hablo español? I said, un poco.
That's great. What's that translate to? What you said back?
A little.
See, my dumbass would have just said "see," because that's all I know. Oh shit!
Bro, if I said see, her ass was about to tell me your life story on un poco. I can tell you left or right, and I will get us out.
Oh, that's that's an all time. I love it. Um, but yeah, O'Neill Cruz, look it up. There are victims, so rest in peace to the victims, and we hope their families are okay. But nevertheless, he hits the shit out of the baseball, and unorthodox guy. But bullpen out of the Braves situation, Game 3. He said you had the Horowitz with the Magic. Lau is okay. We're happy. Bullpen still sucks. We got to figure out something with KG. Jared Triolo needs to, I think, just join the union and just be a carpenter. Because I don't know. Nothing wrong with that. I just don't think he should be a fucking baseball player. That needs figured out.
I think Jared Triolo should have a long and prosperous life in AAA where he can fucking be that guy. Like, that's what Jared Triolo. I'm not telling him to quit baseball. I think banana ball could work. I don't know if you've seen any of his TikTok dances from back when he was in college, but
I did
Jared
not.
Triolo, I mean, yeah, I saw one today of him and his buddy jumping over each other doing push-ups. Banana ball might be in Triolo's future. He is a great glove out there. Trick defensive plays are worth points in banana ball. People, look it up. Jared Triolo, I think I know your next stop, bud.
Yeah, just get out of here. We need KG back soon, and I don't know. Do we want to get into it today, or no? We can edit the part out if you want. But do you want to
No,
get
I
into
mean,
KG?
we'll just like touch on it. Sounds like Sherrington is going to pussyfoot with Connor as much as possible. If I was the Pirates, I would say Marcell Ozuna, you can take a hike. And Connor, how do you like designated hitter until you can throw a fucking baseball again? Because yeah, I know we're still going to be stuck with some shitty infielders that have to hit. Like, that's just what's going to happen until Connor can be back out there as our everyday shortstop. I want Connor's bat. I need Connor's bat. I need it now.
And I understand the pussyfooting around a little bit because this is the biggest deal in Pirates history, and we really don't want to just ruin this guy's career because we needed him in the middle, in the beginning of June a little bit too much because we didn't like Jared Triolo. That's not a good reason to torch his, if something is wrong. I heard reports about him when they were in Houston. He went up to Dallas a couple times to see a guy who mainly specializes in Tommy John surgery, which doesn't I don't like. I hope that there's a lot of stuff going around about what's wrong with him. But if he can DH, have him DH. I really hope those 2 days he did DH that it didn't mess him up more. But we need him back. We're paying him a lot of money. Let's be diligent with it, but let's just hope for the best because he's got to come back. This is our future, right? We want something this year. I'd love to just get swept by the Dodgers in the wild card round and they just play, at like 10-10 every night, 2 nights in a row. But I really don't want to see. I don't want to see KG just be beat for his whole career because I'm hoping that I can buy my future son a jersey of KG. That's how long he's going to be here. It, let's just hope for the best, and I'm sure every single week that he's not here, we'll have more and more, and this puzzle will kind of start to solve itself a little bit. So we don't have to go into the speculations, but Lau's good, and I'm officially I am gonna say it. I know I said it earlier, but I am congratulations to the Milwaukee Brewers for winning the NL Central. You had a
Hey,
great yeah,
congrats,
it was
Milwaukee.
great.
You guys are awesome. That's
Congrats.
all we can say. You're great.
You
You're
got
way
it.
better than all the rest of us. We've proven that into June. So way to go, Milwaukee.
I concede to you, Milwaukee. Please just let us get to the wild card. If we play you, take it easy. But you are the Kings. Christian Yelich, you're very handsome. Congratulations. You guys are going to make a run. And honestly, I think we don't have to get into Milwaukee, but they're pretty dominant and they're not slowing down. And it sucks because the whole NL Central this year decided they were going to try to win this year. I saw the Reds under 500 for the out of any team in the NL Central since like the Cubs were 6-8 at the beginning of the season. Isn't that
Yeah,
crazy?
it is insane, but also I'd love to see it. There's not a city I would like to see it happen to more. There's no fans that get in my mentions more than the Reds. You guys keep being yourselves, Ohio fucks, and you just hang out down there in the basement. Sal Stewart's good at baseball. He's also a cocky prick who fucking pimped a walk and then dribbled out on the next play.
Yeah, he's got to do something about those eyebrows. Those are a little scary. He's got 2 rats up there, Sal Stewart.
Oh,
But
he's
that
got
kind
he's
of
got some caterpillars up there.
that kind of that wraps up the 6-game road stand, the road trip that we had. We're gonna be back at it. You're probably seeing this on Tuesday, I'm assuming. We got 3 against the Dodgers. It looks like Skeen's gonna take game 1, and then Otani's gonna be in game 2. Uh, Looking forward to it. I think we're going to be able to hold our own a little bit. We do play them fairly well, which is shocking. I think of the past, I heard on the fan, in the past 2 or 3 years, the Dodgers have a losing record to only like 2 or 3 teams, and the Pirates are one of them, which is just weird. I think we do play them better at home, but also that is a cross country trip. And like I said, a lot more goes in. I think travel has a lot to do with the team more than people think, because that's just exhausting to just never be home. Because even when you are home, you're not, because the Pirates have no one from Pittsburgh and LA has no one from LA on there, right? So you're just never home. But
Yeah, no,
whatever.
that is
I
the
was
thing
just
here, and it kind of parlays into what you were just saying. It parlays into what I teased earlier, and I'm going to hide it in here before we get to the general so that you sick fucks actually have to listen if you want to gamble with me. We're just going easy. We don't have a lot of lines out because we're recording this a day early. What we do have is Pirates minus 105, and that's what you're sprinkling. Paul Skeens get right game against LA, a team he grew up fucking hating. Let's watch Paul Skeens just dominate this Dodgers lineup. That's what we need to start to feel right about Paul again after his last few starts.
I was thinking I wanted to kind of throw a bet out there just so, because we are shooting 100% right now, Yinzer. So I mean, if we do more than one bet, that's just more money in your pocket. We are by no means sponsored by any gambling. Gambling is cancer, but if we can get you money, we can get you money. Let's go. Let's go,
And
Paul
also
Skeens.
gambling is cancer, and we're not sponsored by any. But if anyone wants to, hey, we are not men of morals. You can reach out to me. If you don't want to talk to Iron Mike, you DM AngryYinzer99 on Twitter. I will shill for whatever gambling company wants me to.
Oh,
Well,
I'm there for it
bleep
too.
from me. Bleep from me.
I
Fuck. All right, go. Your pick.
Shit. Make sure you bleep that out. But if gambling wants us, we'll take you. But if you want to make some more money this weekend, or I'm sorry, this week, Tuesday, Paul Skeens, hammer his over on strikeouts. This is going to be his get right game. He's been figuring it out. He had a long road trip of just kind of hanging the fuck out. He's going to figure it out for on Tuesday. We're going to get game 1. He's going to strike out the side twice, hammer his strikeouts. I'm assuming the line's going to be close to 6.5. I'm not sure exactly, but whatever it is, hammer it. Paul Skeens is striking dudes out. Pirates win. Paul Skeens
Yes.
strikeouts. Congratulations, you won money. Put your rent on it. You get ahead.
Hey. And this is why we don't ever. We're never getting a gambling sponsorship.
Just giving brain rot advice.
responsibly hammer a parlay of Skeen strikeouts and Pirates money line. Responsibly.
Yeah, and then when you go to work on Wednesday because you just hit on Tuesday and you get into the office and your boss asks you to do something, just tell them to fuck off. Tell them to fuck right off and then go outside. No, stay inside and smoke a cigarette. That's your next piece of advice.
Smoke a cigarette inside, buy the hot receptionist lunch. These are the things you got to do.
Just say, hey, I was thinking about you. Leave it there. If you're single, congratulations now. Because if you're single, you're ahead on rent and you're going to get laid, because that's perfect advice. Just say, hey, I was thinking about you. Get her some Panera. There you go. Congratulations. Your week is set. You can have enough money to buy your dad something nice for Father's Day. Congrats. Thanks for watching. But I don't think we're done yet. What do you want to get into, Yinzer?
Hey, thanks for listening to us. A little bit of degeneracy. We're hammering through postseasons real quick. Basketball, you already mentioned you're a Knicks guy. Knicks up 2-0, going back home. That's over.
Are they
Maybe
gonna?
not.
Yeah,
I'm
are
not
the
going to jinx
Spurs
it
gonna
for
figure
you.
that out? Can they win 1 or 2 in the Garden?
If they win one in the Garden, I'm refusing to say it's over. Obviously, if they can't win one in the Garden, then it's over because that would be 4 games and the series would just end. But if they somehow win 2 in the Garden, then hammer the Spurs responsibly.
Yeah, actually, I was hoping we would get her done or before 8:30, but I'm having fun because they tipped off at 8:30. I wanted to. Yeah, the basketball game comes out in the last 2 minutes anyway, right? So I am looking forward to watching that. It looks like I did. I think I actually called this. Getting to the next thing here, I told you that every single NHL finals game, and every NHL finals, one game goes to like overtime or double overtime. I think we got a double overtime game this weekend, didn't we?
We got a game 3 double
I
overtime,
fucking
or maybe
told you.
game.
I fucking told you that one
We
every
got
time.
every time. So we did hammer double overtime. General quick Steelers stuff here. Hey, big payday for Nick Herbig, your third pass rusher. I kind of think that signals that Highsmith or TJ, one of the two, has to be on their way out. Not if not this season, maybe next. And Darnell Washington gets broken off with a pretty reasonable contract for, I think, reasonable. Twitter hates because they're stat book watchers or they're stat sheet watchers. Darnell Washington's a fucking monster walking, so I'm fine with paying him pretty minimum for a tight end.
He's a dog. I hope with the Herbig signing, that defense was not good. We gave up a lot of points in the playoffs. We gave up a lot of points this year in games we shouldn't. And we had the highest paid defense last year. So I just hope that this can come together. I'm a little bit worried, Yinzer. I'm a little bit worried we're the definition of insanity. But hell, we're still not even through OTAs right now. Doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result. But look, let's hope they figure it out. I want to see this team succeed. I like Herbig. I think with the Miles Garrett trade or the Miles Garrett trade that we started. Once one thing starts, it all kind of ends up. People start signing. We saw a big week last week. So, but good for Herbig. I like Washington too. Dude's a freaking beast. But I hope it can
And
work
I
out.
random Darnell Washington snippet because we were just getting random athlete snippets. I was sitting eating hibachi one day and I just looked over and saw the biggest human I've ever seen. I went, I'm pretty positive that's Darnell Washington. And I looked a little closer and sure enough, it was Darnell Washington.
That's badass. Where were you? Were you in the Berg?
Yeah, I was in the Berg. I was over in this like little hibachi place in West Mifflin. I can't even think of what it's called, but I was just like, is Darnell Washington in West Mifflin at a hibachi spot right now? All right, dude's got taste.
Yeah, you love that hibachi shit. You used to hit that shit up in college a lot too. You haven't
Yeah,
changed.
I mean it's gas. It's gas. Hibachi is delicious. I love watching a man make me an onion volcano and then toss me fucking cucumbers into my mouth before I eat delicious Japanese cuisine.
Hey, going a little bit off
So
off topic. What's that Japanese beer that you like that says just equivalent to Miller Lite? You used to drink it at the basketball games in college. Do you remember?
it's Sapporo and it's kind of like a Corona.
Okay, gotcha.
Like yeah, Sapporo kind of just tastes like a Japanese like Corona or Modelo. It's what they use in sake bombs. It's good.
Okay.
If you're ever getting yourself some Japanese, they'll bring it to you in a big 22-ounce fucking like steel. It feels like a bullet. The can. It's pretty sick.
I remember you carried around at the basketball game there, and I was like, "What the hell is that?" You're like, "I get it hibachi all the time." I was like, "Oh shit, let's
Yeah,
ride."
I couldn't believe they had. We were at a little like mid-major, well, not even D2 basketball game. But yeah,
Yeah, I
that
know.
was
I think that I
at
think that
Sapporo.
our
I was like, I'm gonna crush Sapporo.
I think our school had just started like selling beer too, like that season. So it was just like weird variety of like what they had, and you couldn't go in certain sections with your beer. But I was like, yeah, I get this all the time. I was like, shit, that just sparked a memory in my brain. But yeah, love the culture on your beer there, Yinzer. Um, I
Hey, I'll drink anything that is beer. I love beer. I want to be. I'm not. We won't say alcoholic, but I love some beer.
love beers. I love beers with good company too. But what else did we
Yeah,
have?
beer's good company, good baseball. That's beautiful stuff. And the other thing we have to look at here, We got the Herbig and Darnell did get signed. We've got pretty much, we know it's coming as a Joey Porter Jr. extension. We don't know for how much, but it seems pretty much like they're not at terms, but we know those are getting met at some point.
In your honest opinion, Yinzer, is JPJ top 10? Because let me add real quick before I let you go on this. Is I when I watch JPJ, now I'm not a defensive guy in football. I mean, I love football. I'm a huge football fan. Very, you and I both know the game like the back of our hand. But I'm not a big defensive stat line guy. Yada yada yada. Well, every time I watch the fucking game, man, JPJ is getting some sort of flag on his ass every single drive. And I'm listening to the fan, and they are just saying how JPJ is a top 10 corner in the league. But did I miss something overnight? Like, is he really this? Is he gonna be this guy, like top 10 guy in the league? Like, just enlighten us, please.
So I like the defensive side of the ball. I thought it was more fun when I played because I mean, you can kind of go straight on. You know that I look like a catcher, which means you also know I look like an offensive guard, and that is because I very much was an offensive guard. That shit's boring. Defense is fun as fuck. So I do like watching the defense side of the ball. Joey Porter Jr. is a really fucking good corner. Like, he's a guy that you can't. His stats don't jump off the page, but that's because the guys that he's covering just aren't open. So you're not seeing him get picks because he's not playing that Stephon Diggs brother, whose name is leaving my brain for some reason.
Travion?
Yes, Travion Diggs. He doesn't play that, hey, I'm gonna kind of give you the out route and then I'm gonna try and jump it. It's like, no, you're not getting to the out route. Like, you're stuck here in the middle of the field. You're not beating the I'm too big and physical. And that's why you're not seeing him like get a ton of picks because they're just not throwing the fucking ball at him.
Yeah, I guess if you're kind of silent in that way on the stats at that position, it's not the worst thing in the world. I know that you kind of see that on an off-ball linebacker. You're just running towards the ball every single. You're just kind of reacting and running towards the football, so you don't see like tremendous stat lines out of an off-ball linebacker. So I like JPJ, and I do agree. Playing in middle school when I played football, I played tight end and defensive end, so I was both ways on it. And tight end was just boring on a middle school football team that just ran the fucking ball. But on defensive end, I could just go tackle people, which was so much fun. So I agree wholeheartedly that offense just kind of sucks unless you're like a skill position guy.
Nothing. No, not a skill position guy. We are from Western Pennsylvania. If you play offensive football and you are not the fullback, the halfback, or the quarterback, you do not do anything. If you think that you're out there to play wide receiver, you might get 3 targets a season and learn Heinz Ward, buddy. You're a blocking receiver.
I go to my high school football game, my alma mater's high school football games, during the season, and they just run it up the gut every single play. But they will have a wide receiver out wider play. And I'm like, who this is actually boring for is the fucking cornerback who lines up in front of this wide receiver every single play. It just doesn't do shit. Like, damn, you're really gonna have the Whipfield needs to figure out their sections because you are driving like 2.5 hours for a section game in the Whips these days. So yeah, that sucks. But I hope JPJ, I hope the defense really is just like top 5 in the league this year, man. That would kick ass for us because I think we might struggle on the other end of the ball, but it's just too early to tell. By week 4,
Yeah, no, that's something.
we'll know.
And we'll get into our more Steelers preview once the boys are in Latrobe and it's really kicking off over there.
Yep.
Like you said, we're in OTAs. So
Yeah.
the only other there's like discussion. It's on the fan every day. So I figured I'd mention Keanu Benton. It seems like he might get extended, but that's not going to be for anything big. It's just kind of a side note. Hey, does Keanu Benton deserve an extension? I don't know. He seems like an okay defensive end. So that's one of those where let's see. I don't think you have to pay him yet. No one's going to be begging for him this offseason.
Yeah, especially, like I said, it's almost like a domino effect. Once one person gets signed, it's like, oh, what about him? What about it? And I'm sure throughout, before you even get to Latrobe, there'll be other talks of other guys of well, what do we do? So it looks like we're just focused on the defense side of the ball as of now, except for Darnell. But yeah, like you said, we'll get into Lake Trove. We'll start getting some more storylines. And like you said, you had me laugh my ass off the other day. You're like, hopefully I don't have to worry about, hopefully the Pirates are good enough. I don't have to worry about the Steelers till like week 4, which is so funny. Like, hopefully. So,
Well, that would be, yeah. If I'm still in October watching the Pirates play baseball, that would be ideal for me. That way, the Steelers can be something I only have to think about on Sunday. I'll turn it on, either get really mad or really happy for 2.5 hours, and then go on and just get excited for Pirates baseball. That's what I'm hoping for that beginning of the football season. And then we'll know what the team looks like after those first few weeks. Hopping out of the Steelers, there's just this. We're talking about, hey, once the Steelers are out of Pittsburgh, we'll be able to talk about them when they're in the Trove. Someone else who ran out of Pittsburgh for the country rather quickly over the weekend would be good old Morgan Wallen.
what
And
the
I'm
hell?
sure you heard this story. It was a huge thing all yesterday, obviously Saturday, the big day that everyone was talking about it. A weatherman in Pittsburgh is someone just paid to be generationally wrong. It's like being Bob Nutting. I don't understand why I've seen it happen in this fucking city so many times. I didn't have tickets to this concert, so this didn't affect me personally. But Morgan Wallen cancels his show because, hey, we're going to have these really strong winds. They just didn't come. So he was in the air as he was announcing this cancellation. Apparently, cancellation never announced by Acrisure, which pains me to even have to fucking call it that, but that's what their social media is. So the Acrisure social media accounts don't post anything. Morgan Wallen just posts a video that he's clearly reading a script and, hey guys, I had to leave, weather.
Yeah, that's so I was this whole weekend I was doing a roof for my uncle and his daughter, like one cousin. Got up real late and we were talking. She was wearing a Morgan Wallen shirt because she went on Friday. And I was like, oh, that's cool, like you had a good time, whatever. And then she was like, I got some friends that are going back down there tonight. They're doing back to back. I'm like, oh shit, you better just, just do it. You only live once, who cares? And then it was like noon. She was like, Morgan Wallen canceled his concert. And at the time, we were like, it's because maybe it wasn't quite at noon, but it was early. It wasn't like it was 7 o'clock. Because we had thought all weekend it's going to storm. I'm in the middle of planning out how to do a roof this weekend, so we thought it was coming. And it sucks for me and for the Morgan Wallen people because they didn't go to the concert, and I had to work on the fucking roof when it was supposed to be storming. So it's just kind of nuts. I feel so bad for the people that waited around for that, but I did see he posted another kind of apology that just said, "Hey, my team said that it's going to be wins and shit could fall over and really hurt people." So I just listened to my team and kept going. But no one wins, dude. No one wins when you do that. Especially, we're big sports guys. I don't think either of us are concert rats, but like, they just go to a million shows. But if the Pirates get rained out, man, they got 80. They got 80 other home games that I can just go to. Right, I'll leave in the 4th inning. People look forward to this shit. That is tough. Not the best look for him, but not the worst thing Morgan Wallen's ever done either. So who knows?
No, not close to the worst thing
Par for
he's
the
done.
course.
Yeah, I mean, I have actually, I'm not a concert rat. I have been to a Morgan Wallen show out at Star Lake out there. And yeah, I mean, the man puts on a show. He's a jackass. Bad guy, but
Not the
puts on a
best role
show. I do
model.
feel bad that not a good role model, not someone that you want to be standing underneath of any bar that he's on a rooftop in Nashville. But
Hey, do we know who
hey,
ran out with him? What Pittsburgh guy ran out with him on Friday? Would we know that or no? He doesn't always run out with someone who is
oh yeah,
tied to the
yeah, yeah.
city.
I heard this. This one is gonna hit for me and you, but doesn't hit for his demographic. I can't believe that it's who he brought out. How does this make you feel in your heart? Does this bring up anything? You suck. You suck. Anything there?
Not quite. Hang on.
Not a WWE guy. Are you an Olympic wrestling guy?
I'm drawing blanks here. What the hell? I don't know what's going on.
Well, how do you feel about the Clarion Golden Eagles?
Okay. Great college. Yeah.
Well, Kurt Angle of WWE
Oh,
and
shit.
Olympic
Okay.
gold medal fame did indeed run out with Morgan Wallen
Oh,
on
shit.
Friday.
I am not well versed in that universe at all, but I would not expect that.
Yeah, no, neither would I. That is one that I heard it today on the fan. I went, really? Kurt Angle. All right, that's it. Like, if I was there, I would have been fucking pumped, but that doesn't sound like something a bunch of 15-year-old girls want to see.
Yeah, throw out who knows? I thought it was cool whenever, I don't think it was the Pittsburgh show, but I saw when he was in Indy or something, Pat McAfee came out with him, which you're right, that would not be the best for his main demographic of fans. I'd be fucking pumped if I just like, oh shit, it's Pat McAfee. Like, but yeah, I would think you would
Yeah,
throw
I
out
think
like Ben. They were thinking Ben maybe because he's just a big fucking big country, basically, just loves country
I
music.
heard the rumors for Saturday was that it was going to be Jennings Dunker, which again does not play to your demographic, but Jennings Dunker is a fun fucking guy to look at.
I like to think that Morgan Wallen's just an asshole, and people don't want to hang out with him anymore. They're like, I did that, or just kind of like did it once, but like, okay, man, it's not cool anymore. Just some weird beef. I'd like to think that's a thing, but nevertheless, I think it's just funny that it's where we just get on the map for that. It's like, yep, we just got weird ass weather, so we're gonna cancel the show for no reason. It's kind of funny, but that sucks if you went there.
Yeah.
Thank God I didn't. I'm not. I like them, but I'm not. I would never buy tickets for that, but. Sorry for you guys that missed out. I guess there was some other options. Tying it back to baseball, the Washington Wild things offered everyone that could show that they had tickets to Morgan Wallen at their door a free admission into their game. I didn't check the attendance. Watch the Wild Things prospect team. Not in the MLB or minor leagues, anything like that. But and I guess someone did a live show at Tequila Cowboy, like one of the openers. So. I'm sure
and then called it a dive bar on social media.
I didn't see that
as well.
He called Tequila Cowboy a dive bar.
He said the concert got rained out, so I found a dive to perform at it instead. And then I look, he's playing on the fucking main stage at TC. I'm like, yeah, that's not a dive.
You clearly just didn't want to walk far, and you brought your shit there. But, well, dude, great episode. Thank you guys for being here as long as you were. And like our boy Yinzer said earlier, well, we were off air, but listen to it in spurts. You don't have to be here the whole time. We ain't holding you accountable. Come hang out. Leave it, come and leave as you go.
Yeah, and if you can subscribe, leave a comment. I know this is lame shit to ask for, but it does seriously help us because it'll make more people see our shit. So if you can just do that, I know some of you that I sent the shit to directly. Thank you for checking it out, and thank everybody who checked it out. We're just going to keep coming if no one's listening, so we're going to be here whether you want to listen to us or not. If you feel like listening to us, thanks.
Yeah, appreciate everyone who decides to even just do us a favor and do a like or subscribe. Thank you. It's a ton of fun. We'll keep it going.
Repost the tweet, anything. Fucking tell someone else to listen. You don't even have to.
You're making money. You're making money listening to us. So you're stupid if you don't, but I'm not going to judge you if you don't listen. But you're up on rent now. So, and you're going to get laid too, because you're going to sleep with your secretary. So it's great.
Yeah. Sleep with your secretary, up on rent. Everything's going to go great. You're going to buy the office lunch, tell your boss to shove it. All that'll be incredible. But until next time, this has been AngryYinzer as well as PittsburghIronMike. Thank you guys for listening to another episode of Talk the Plank.
Deuces, everyone. Have a good one.
Peace. God bless.
Yo ho, Talk the Plank's the show. Ho, ho. Where you can come and hear about everything Buccos. Yo ho ho, come talk the plank with bros. I earn my galleons as anger begins to grow.